Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to learn about motion in a plane NCERT section 3.10. Disclaimer: the images, text and other materials used in our presentations are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. Learning objective: by the end of this lecture, you will able to understand the concept of uniform circular motion, and this is very important topic. Index. So today we will cover 3.10 uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion. So uniform circular motion. So here we will learn about uniform circular motion. So suppose if an object is moving in a circular path at constant speed, if an object is moving in a circular path at constant speed, then it is said to be in a uniform circular motion. It means for the circular motion, path should be circular, while in circular motion speed remains constant. In circular motion speed remains constant, whereas velocity changes due to change in its direction. Suppose an object is moving with uniform speed v in a circle of radius r, as shown in figure 3.18. Look at here, figure 3.18. So the speed of an object is v, and this object follow a circular path from point P to point P prime. So this is a curved path, or we can say circular path. So the movement of point P from P point to P prime is a circular motion. So this is circular motion. Since the velocity of the object is changing continuously due to change in its direction, the object undergoes acceleration. So we know acceleration is a rate of change of velocity. But in a circular motion, if we talk about in a circular motion, the velocity of object is changing continuously. Why? Due to change in direction. Look at here. The direction of the of an object at point P is shows by arrow. If we talk about the direction at point P prime is changes. So it means the direction of the velocity of an object is changing continuously due to change in its direction. So change in velocity results in a acceleration called centripetal acceleration, because there is a at every point on a circular path, at every point there is a change in velocity, and due to this, the change in velocity, we know acceleration, but the path is circular. So this phenomena here we call centripetal acceleration. Acceleration is a vector quantity. It has both magnitude and direction. Therefore, we will find first direction of centripetal acceleration. Second, we will find magnitude of centripetal acceleration. centripetal acceleration is a very important concept for the exam. So let's first is let's just discuss. First is direction of centripetal acceleration. So let r and r prime be the position vectors. Look at figure. R from center to point P, R, and from center to point P prime, R prime is the position vectors, and V and V prime, V and V prime are the velocities of an object at different points. So first is at point P, second is point P prime, as shown in the figure 3.18a in this figure. So here there is a two velocities at two different points. At point P, velocity is V. At point P prime, velocity is V prime with respect to their position vector. You can see velocity vector V and V prime in figure 3.18a1. Velocity V and velocity V prime, and this touches the circular path. Look at here, touches the circular path, this one, from point P to point P prime, and the perpendicular to the position vectors. It means point P and point P prime. If we talk about point at point P and point P prime, the position vectors, these are the perpendicular to the position vectors. R prime is the position vector, similarly R is the position vectors. So we can say velocity are the perpendicular to position vectors. This topic is easy or not? Displacement time and velocity time graph be expressed for uniform circular motion. Okay, we will learn in upcoming slides, Joshua. So figure 3.18a2, 3.a2, this one, this small figure shows delta V from H to I. H to I shows the delta V, which we get by connecting these velocities V and V prime. So in a circle, the velocity is always at right angles to the position. It means the angle between position vector and velocity always should be 90 degree, because here velocity is perpendicular to the position vector if we talk about the uniform circular motion. This means delta V stands at right angles to delta R. It means change in velocity is perpendicular to change in position. So now, since average acceleration, A average is equal to change in velocity divided by time interval, it also stands at right angles to delta R. It means average acceleration also stands at right angles, or we can say at 90 degrees. When we put delta V halfway between R and R prime, it points to the circle's center. Circle center is C. Points circle center. Figure 3.18b shows when we take a smaller time gap. Look at here, 3.18b. Smaller time gap, here delta V and average acceleration points to the center, or we can say if the time gap is very small, so velocity is instantaneous velocity and acceleration is instantaneous acceleration. So this is circular path. In figure 3.18c, when time gap becomes very tiny means very small, or we can say delta t approaches 0, not 0 but approaches to 0, we get instant acceleration. So this instant acceleration points to the center. Points to the center means towards the center, from P prime to C, or we can say P to C, towards the center. The acceleration is towards the center. So in uniform circular motion, centripetal acceleration always points to the center of the circle. It means, suppose we have a circular path as shown in a figure 3.18 A1, and if we talk about the centripetal acceleration, so the centripetal acceleration at different points, at point P and at point P prime, always points towards the center of the circle, and that is C. So remember that centripetal acceleration always points to the center of the circle. This is the direction of the centripetal acceleration if we talk about the uniform circular motion. Second, magnitude of centripetal acceleration. So we know the direction of centripetal acceleration towards the center of the circle. Now we will find the magnitude of centripetal acceleration. So this is the circular path, or we can say uniform circular path. So magnitude of acceleration is defined by the limit of change in velocity vector over change in time as delta t approaches 0, expressed as a magnitude of A is equal to limit delta t approaches 0 change in velocity vector divided by time interval. So this is the mathematical expression of the acceleration at a particular instant when delta t approaches 0. So using this concept, we will find out the magnitude of the centripetal acceleration. In previous lecture, we already talked about the instantaneous acceleration. So we have a position vectors r and r prime separated by angle delta theta as shown in the figure 3.18 A1. So delta theta is the angle between the two position vectors r and r prime. So velocity vectors v and v prime are perpendicular to the position vectors, and that position vectors is r and r prime respectively, thus forming the same angle, and that is delta theta between them. Look at here, delta theta is the angle between position vectors r and r prime. So here r is the position vector from center to point P. Similarly, from center to point P prime, r prime is the position vector, and the angle between them is delta theta. Next, here the triangle C, P and P prime. Look at here, C, P and P prime formed by position vectors. There are two position vectors r and r prime. So this triangle formed by position vectors, and triangle GHI formed by velocity vectors v prime and delta v exhibit similarity as shown in the figure 3.18 A. Look at here, if we talk about the position vector and if we talk about the velocity vector, so the formation of both position vector and the velocity vector both are the same. So here, due to this similarity, the ratios of base length to side length in both triangles are equal. It means base length to side length are in both triangles are equal. Let's see this relationship mathematically. So delta V divided by V is equal to delta R divided by R. This is the base length to the side length in both triangles. So here base length is delta V and side length is V. Similarly, if we talk about delta R and R, So base length is delta r and side length is r. So now which simplifies to delta v, or we can say magnitude of change in velocity vector is equal to v into delta r divided by r. So magnitude of acceleration, limit delta t approaches 0, delta v divided by delta t, we know already this. So just substitute the value of delta v. So it will become limit delta t approaches 0, v into delta r divided by capital R into delta t. So it will become magnitude of acceleration is equal to v by r. Listen carefully, magnitude of acceleration is v by r, velocity upon r, into limit delta t approaches 0, or it will be delta r divided by delta t. Now using this expression we will simplify this more. So further, if delta t is small, if the time gap is a very small, delta theta will also be small, and then arc PP prime can be approximately taken to be delta r. Delta r, this one. So it will be delta r upon delta t. Rate of change of position vector is equal to velocity. We know this. So limit delta t approaches 0, delta r upon delta t is equal to v. So therefore the magnitude of centripetal acceleration AC is equal to v by r into v. We just simplify here the mathematical terms. We know v by r and into limit delta t approaches 0, change in position vector divided by r. So change in position and with respect to time, so it will be v. So centripetal acceleration become v square divided by r. This is very important. The magnitude of centripetal acceleration is v square by r. Clear? So angular displacement theta, and this is also important concept. Here delta theta is the angle between the position vectors r and r prime. So now here question arises, how we can define the angular displacement? The angle turned by a body moving on a circle from some reference line. Here reference line is p to p prime, is called the angular displacement. So here this is the definition of angular displacement. Turned by a body moving on a circle from some reference. So this is the delta theta here, angular displacement. Change in position of an object. Here point P to P prime. So angular speed omega represents the time rate of change of angular displacement, that is omega is equal to delta theta upon delta t. So this is the angular speed. You know, velocity is, if we talk about the speed in previous lecture, motion in a straight line, we know speed is a rate of change of position. But if we talk about the angular speed, rate of change of angular displacement. Listen carefully. If we talk about the angular speed, we suppose velocity. Let's take velocity. If we talk about the velocity, so it is the rate of change of position, or we can say rate of change of displacement is the velocity. And if we talk about the angular velocity, the rate of change of angular displacement, just there is a only term, and that is angular, and the definition will change. So angular speed omega is equal to delta theta upon delta t. Clear? So if we talk about the linear velocity v, so linear velocity v relates to the distance traveled, and that is delta s, as v is equal to delta s upon delta t, or we can say change in position with respect to time. So represents the linear velocity. Since delta s is equal to r delta theta, we get v is equal to r into delta theta upon delta t. So delta theta upon delta t is omega, so it will be v equal to r omega. Centripetal acceleration can be expressed using speed as angular speed as ac is equal to v square upon r, or we know v is equal to omega r. V is equal to omega r. Look at figure 3.45. V is equal to omega r. So just substitute the value of v and take square. So you will be get omega square r square divided by r. So r cancel out. Remaining term is omega square r. So this is the magnitude of the centripetal acceleration. AC is equal to omega square divided by r, and it is directed always towards the center of the circle. The time period t represents one complete revolution, and frequency mu equals to 1 by t. Here frequency is the reciprocal of time period, and if we talk about the time period, it is the reciprocal of frequency. Got it? So as the distance covered in one revolution is s is equal to 2 pi r, this is the circumference, and velocity becomes v equal to distance upon time. So here distance is 2 pi r and time is t. So solving this, you will be get v is equal to 2 pi r mu. So this is the frequency. Velocity is equal to 2 pi r mu. The relationships with frequency mu are expressed as omega is equal to 2 pi r mu, and mu is equal to velocity is equal to 2 pi r mu. So centripetal acceleration becomes 4 pi square v square r. So this is the all about the centripetal acceleration. After this lecture on the uniform circular motion, we will solve NCERT exemplar problems. So please wait 2 minutes. Thank you for your attention. Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to solve some questions based on motion in a plane, NCERT exemplar 3.1 to 3.2, 3.5, 3.16 to 3.17 and 3.19. Disclaimer: the images, text and other materials used in our presentations are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. Learning objective: by the end of this lecture, you will able to understand you were able to solve questions on motion in a plane by applying the concepts of trajectory of projectile, maximum range, maximum height and centripetal acceleration using the proper reasoning and calculations. So in today's lecture, we will cover NCERT exemplar problems on chapter motion in a plane. There are total 37 questions in this exercise. We are going to cover 6 questions: 3.1 to 3.2, 3.5, 3.16, 3.17 and 3.19. These are important questions. So our first question is: the angle between A vector is equal to I cap plus j cap and B vector is equal to I cap minus j cap is what? So in this question, you have to find out the angle between A vector and B vector. Given options, option A 45 degree, option B 90 degree, option C minus 45 degree and option D 180 degree. So which one is correct? Think about it. Please solve. So correct answer is B. We will solve this question using concept 3.2.1. Thinking process. To solve such type of questions, we have to use the formula for dot product or cross product. So given A is equal to I cap plus j cap and B equal to I cap minus j cap. This is given vectors. We know that A dot B is equal to magnitude of A into magnitude of B into cos theta. This is the formula of the dot product or scalar product. So here theta is the angle between A and B. So calculate magnitude of A vector. So magnitude of A vector is equal to under root 1 square plus 1 square equal to under root 2. The formula is this one. I cap component of x x component of x and component of y. So magnitude of A vector is equal to under root ax square plus ay square. So this is the formula. Similarly, we calculate the magnitude of B, that is under root 1 square plus minus whole square. It is equal to root 2. It means the magnitude of vector A and magnitude of vector B both is same. And the formula is this one. So put values in dot product formula, and that is A dot B is equal to magnitude of A into magnitude of B cos theta. So A vector is I cap plus j cap, B vector is I cap minus j cap is equal to magnitude of A root 2 magnitude of B root 2 into cos theta. So just take the dot product of A vector and B vector. So I cap into I cap 1, I cap into minus j cap 0, j cap into I cap 0 and j cap into minus j cap is minus 1 and divided by root 2 into root 2. So it will be become cos theta equal to 0 because we know cos 90 equal to 0. So theta become 90 degree. So this is just a simple question based on mathematics or the formula of dot product. Next, which one of the following statement is true? So there is a some statements and you have to find out the which one is true and which one is false. Which one is true? Given options, option A scalar quantity is the one that is conserved in a process. Option B, a scalar quantity is the one that can never take negative values. Option C, a scalar quantity is one that does not vary from one point to another in space. And option D, a scalar quantity has the same value for observers and with different orientation of the axis. So in this question, you have to find out the uh, correct statement related to scalar quantity. So you know what is scalar quantity? So please answer. Please solve this question. So correct option is D. Why? We know scalar quantity is a physical quantity which has only magnitude. Solution. So a scalar quantity is independent of direction because it has only magnitude. There is a no direction. There is a no direction. Hence has the same value of for observers with different orientations of the axis. If, or we can say if the orientations of the axis is changed, the value of scalar quantity will never change. It means it is independent of direction. Clear? The horizontal range of a projectile fired at an angle of 15 degree is 50 meter. If it is fired with same speed at angle of 45 degree, its range will be what? So in this question, you have to find out the range of the projectile. Given options: option A 60 meter, option B 71 meter, option C 100 meter, and option D 141 meter. So which one is the correct range of the projectile? Please solve this question. You have some time to solve this question. After that, we will solve this question. Clear? So correct option is C, 100 meter. We will solve this question using concept 3.1.2. So given theta is equal to 15 degree according to question and range is equal to 50 meter. So trajectory of projectile like this. This is the trajectory. This curve path. This curve path. Look at arrow. This curve path is the trajectory of projectile. And the distance between origin to end of this curve path is the range. So using the range formula, r is equal to u square sine 2 theta divided by g. So putting all the given values in the formula, we get 50 is equal to u square sine 2 into 15 degree divided by g. So r is the range that is given. Now using this mathematical terms, we will find the value of u, because we know g is the acceleration due to gravity. Just solve it and find out the value of g. So 50 into g equal to u square sine 30 degree. 2 into 15 sine 30. So 50 into g is equal to u square sine 30 1 by 2. So it will be u square into 1 by 2. So u square equal to 50 into g into 2. This one, u square equal to 50 into g into 2. So solving for u, so it will be u square equal to 50 into 9.8 into 2 is equal to 100 into 9.8 is equal to 980. So u square equal to 980. So u is equal to under root 980. Under root 980 means under root 49 into 20 after the factorization. So it will be 14 into root 5 meter per second. For theta 45 degree. If in next case the angle is 45 degree. So now again substitute the all given terms in the formula of the range. So r equal to u square sine 2 into 45 degree divided by g. So sine 2 into 45 90, or we know sine 90 1. So the remaining term u square divided by g. So this is the range. So r equal to u square divided by g. So u square we know this one. U is 14 into root 5. So just substitute here and take square divided by g. So 14 root 5 square equal to 14 into 5 and divided by g. The value of g is 9.8. Acceleration due to gravity. So r equal to 100 meter. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. A cyclist starts from center O of a circular park of radius 1 kilometer. It means the radius of circular park is 1 kilometer and moves along the path O, P, R, Q, O as shown in the figure. Look at here. O, P, R, Q, O. If he maintains constant speed of 10 meter per second, what is his acceleration at point R in magnitude and direction? So in this question, you have to find out the magnitude and direction of the acceleration at point R. Think about it and please solve this question. So solution using concept 4.19. The cyclist covers the path OPRQO. As we know, whenever an object performing circular motion acceleration is called centripetal acceleration and its direction always directed towards the center. So if we talk about the circular motion, or we can say an object performing circular motion, acceleration is always directed towards the center. So acceleration at r is a equal to v square by r. So this is the formula of the acceleration. So just substitute the value. So here velocity is 10 meter per second square divided by r is 1 kilometer. So it will be square of 10 is 100 and divided by r. So convert kilometer into meter. So 10 cube. So solving this, you will get 0.1 meter per second square. And direction along RO towards the center. RO towards the center. Because the acceleration, centripetal acceleration, always directed towards the center. A particle is projected in air at some angle to the horizontal, moves along parabola as shown in the figure, where x and y indicates horizontal and vertical directions respectively, shown in the diagram. Direction of velocity and acceleration at points A, B and C is what? So this is the parabola curve and you have to find out the direction of velocity and acceleration at point A, B and C. Please solve this question. So solution using concept 3.1.2. Thinking process. When a particle is under projectile motion, horizontal component of the velocity will always be constant and acceleration is always vertically downward and is equal to g. So consider the diagram. Look at here. Trajectory of projectile in which a projectile is projected at an angle theta. This one. A particle is projected with initial speed u and the angle of projection is here theta. And the acceleration due to gravity is always acted vertically downward, g. So there are two components of initial velocity. There is first along x-axis, second along y-axis. If we talk about the along x-axis, vx is equal to horizontal component of velocity is equal to v cos theta is equal to constant, because there is a no acceleration in x direction, or we can say opposite to the direction of vx. So there is a only acceleration that is vertically downward. Vy is equal to vertical component of velocity, and that is equal to v sin theta. So trajectory of projectile, this one, and B point is the highest point, or we can say maximum height. So velocity will always be tangential to the curve in the direction of motion. So here, suppose we talk about the at point A, the velocity of object, or we can say velocity of particle, always tangential to the curve in the direction of motion. If we talk about the at point B, the velocity will always be tangential to the curve in the direction of motion, and that is v cos theta. And if we talk about at point C, the velocity will always be tangential to the curve. So acceleration is always vertically downward and is equal to g due to acceleration due to gravity. Clear? A football is kicked into the air vertically upwards. What is its acceleration and velocity at the highest point? So in this question, you have to find out the acceleration, and second, you have to find out the velocity at the highest point. Please solve this question. So solution using concept 3.1.3. First, to find the acceleration of the football. So consider the above diagram in which a football is kicked into the air. So the direction of the football is vertically upwards. Direction of football is vertically upwards from ground to peak point, and from the peak point he comes again to the ground. So in that case, the acceleration of the football will always be vertically downward and equal to g, because due to what? Acceleration due to gravity. Second, to find the velocity at the highest point. So at the highest point, velocity is 0. So the highest point, or we can say peak point. So at the peak point, when the football reaches the highest point, velocity will be 0, as it is continuously retarded by the acceleration due to gravity g. So when football kicked in upward direction, so there is a acceleration, or we can say there is a retardation, and due to gravity, and that is vertically downward. So at maximum height, or we can say the maximum point, velocity will be 0. Clear? Thank you for your attention.